That in times of national crisis, in times when a people are brutalized and terrorized by the government, that is when a leader whose track record is one of people-centered policies and genuine commitment to national service is needed. I tell you this, and I say this with no fear, the UNC as a party, our members, our forefathers and supporters, and the backbone of the DLP and the ULF coming down, those incarnations, they hold a very sacred place in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. I have heard, and I still hear people say with contempt, that the UNC will always be in opposition. But let me share with you one of my special philosophies, a core belief which has taken me from opposition to government, to opposition, and then what? Back to government. And that is an ability to maintain hope amidst despair, to keep belief amid uncertainty, and to have determination amidst desolation. That philosophy is this. This country owes a debt of gratitude to the UNC and its previous incarnations. Because it is the opposition that safeguards a country's democracy. It is the opposition that ensures that the government of the day does not get away with tyranny, with destruction, with thievery, with policies aimed at destroying a country. So when they talk about the opposition, as you and me, that's us. Opposition. They talk about the opposition and members in these very disparaging terms. I want you always to remember this. If it were not for your courage to stand against tyranny, if it were not for your heroic determination to ensure you may not win government, but you will still stop them in their tracks, not to trample on the Constitution. Remember, our country's very success as a democracy for nearly 6 decades was based and is based on your strength, your courage, and your resolve. You are a people who say we have borne the brunt of PNM discrimination, of PNM neglect, of PNM incompetence, destruction, corruption, and abandonment. For decades, you were the ones, as the UNC and previous incarnations. And we have never, and you have never surrendered throughout the ages, throughout the years, throughout the decades. You have never surrendered your courage. You have never surrendered your determination to take a stance for yourself and for your children. So don't let them tell you that you are sycophant, that you are tribal, that you are not what young people want, that you are the ones, I tell you, you have built this great party. You have built this great party. This is your party. This is your great party. I am UNC and I am proud. I ask you today, are you UNC and are you proud? Take pride and take heart and never surrender to the blackmail, to the branding. Never ever. Some of us, they are so faint-hearted and weak. If a breeze just blows, they fall down. And they believe the propaganda of the people who hate us. They believe the slightest bad talk you hear. They're going around whispering and say, Munilal is this, and this one is that, and that one. They have the audacity to attack the people who have stood and fought for you and for the UNC in this country. And when you ask them, what have you done? What have you done for the people sitting here and throughout the length and breadth of this country? I stand proudly on your shoulders. You have lifted me up and given me strength to fight for you. This year is 10 years. 10 years since I made that speech at Mid-Center Mall in 2007. Some think it was one of the best political speeches, no woman, no cry speech. How many of you were there that day in Mid-Center Mall? How many many wish you were there that day in Mid-Center Hall? And I to tell you, how many remember this speech? And I will remind you. I will tell you. It was a kind of betrayal that took place there. And so there I was, in Mid-Center Mall, in front of thousands of people. And I spoke about the pain and sacrifice of being a lone woman in a sea of men in politics, enduring the most horrific character assassination. What we talk about women haters as well. There's a big word, they call it misogyny, which we see our Prime Minister with all the time. Going through and being overlooked because I was what I told you, just a feeble, weak woman in body. But I told you I have the heart of a tigress. And I will fight. I will fight. And I told you how many times I felt like giving up. But I held on to due to people, due to this party, and due to my love for my country. What you did not know and what I did not say then was that I also spoke my truth that day because I'd come to realize something, which is still very important now. And that is that leadership, no matter how much you deserve it, can never be handed down to you. Can't just take it. Leadership is not about people choosing you, who they want, and fighting for the privilege and so on, and anointing you. And I thank God I was not anointed by anybody. It was you, the people, who made me your leader. One man, one vote. Let us remember this is a family matter where we compete against each other. We are a democratic party. It is a family matter, and this too shall pass. And whoever emerges victorious, I ask them to take the example I gave. When in 2010, half the party, half the MPs did not support me, maybe even 3/4. But the people gave me their support. And after that, what did I do? I brought them in and gave them big ministries. Yes. Powerful ministries. And we worked hard. And we did good work. And we can do good work again. But we have to unite as a formidable force to move the PNM out of office. We have to unite. We have to unite. So put aside your worries. Concentrate on the real enemy. And 2010, I took a fragmented UNC. I was like the magnet to bring it together. United, we won in 2010. 2011, we won. You know when we lost? Do you know when we lost? So it's not Kamla. Some want to do the same blame game like Rowley. It was when we divided, we lost. United, we win. Every time we divide, we lose. And let us never forget that lesson and do not stray. Every time we divide, we lose. 2015 was no different. And yes, there were other things that we will pay attention to and we must learn from mistakes made. But the greatest mistake we always made, even under Mr. Pandey, the greatest mistake was we always, crab and barrel, divided. Divided. You know? So 10 years later, from Mid-Center Mall, it's exactly 10 years this year. 10 years later, going from opposition to government, opposition again, I can tell you this. I can tell you this. I am older. I am wiser. I am more experienced. And I am more than ready to take back government with your help. With your help. I remember, one of you remember what I told you. I said, Kamla is a woman. When you knock me down, I'm not staying down. I will get back up, tighten my bootlaces, and fight. I will. As long as you stand with me, as long as we stand together, we will stand tall and strong. In the past 2 years, I underwent significant personal introspection. 2 years Some parts of it were hard and lonely. We were all hurt when we lost, yes. And, you know, they talk about his state. Well, when they reported that we lost, I hear you. And so in those 2 years, it was not easy. It was not easy. It was a lonely time. It was a hard time. But I took that time in introspection to look candidly at the reasons we lost or was recorded as a loss. And that's a very important thing, you know. We must man our poll stations and whatever better. Better. So we will have the evidence to show what transpired. So we mulled and we looked at all these reasons to determine how best I could ensure that I learned from the hard and cruel lessons. And now, in retrospect, those lessons were very necessary lessons. And it's in periods like these you find your best friends. You find your strength. You find your humility. Purpose comes back and you grow more determined and you become a more competent force. Experienced, knowledgeable of the truth and of the reality of everything around you and all those around you. You see clearly what needs to be done. You know, you look at, and you are determined to now do this in the best interest of the party and in the best interest of the country. I say to you that I have a comprehensive plan and we continue mapping a way forward. My UNC family, I stand here with you tonight, confident of your support, because I know that you have been my best friends throughout these long, lonely, hard years. And while there were those on national TV bashing Kamla, blame Kamla, blame Kamla, the good Lord and your support was always behind me, and I thank you for that. I thank you. I am humbled by that. And I'm all the more determined to serve the people, and to serve the people. All the more. And so, I thank you for taking the decision today to approve the decision of the NATEX to hold these elections on the 26th. And I want to ask you something. This is not the first time we are here, is it? We at UNC, we've been here before, so many times before. We are the ones who have built homes and communities and national and regional cultures out of the depths of the murky lagoon. True or not true? We are the ones whose parents came from slavery, from indentureship, from the oil fields, from the cane fields, from the rice fields. We didn't come from the 1%. That's where we came from. We are the people who built this country, side by side, together. We are one in Trinidad and Tobago. And we are the ones who came from such hardship and saw our children and our parents saw their children end up in the hallways and the corridors of the law chambers, end up in the business plazas, end up in the nursing places, in the schools as teachers, end up in the hospital pathways, end up in the university halls. Some of the top professionals in the country, we have worked to build this country. And under the government I led, we were able to increase that tertiary level education to over 64%. 64%. And as I say that, I honor where I came from. I am UNC and I am proud. Are you proud that you are UNC? Who knows more about resilience? Who best defines the spirit of resilience in our country than the UNC? Who knows more about taking the worst forms of discrimination and we turn that into the most patriotic nation-building spirit that we can summon? My sisters and brothers, we are built to carry on and to triumph with a spirit of fearlessness and unwavering courage. I'm reminded now, as I say this to you, that not one of us can stand alone.